Life is like a game of chess in so many ways, particularly the job world. For example, let's say you join a new organization without any connections. You start off as a pawn. And as a pawn, the most strict set of rules in that organization apply to you. Usually you can only move in one direction. This is equivalent to you have to get to work every day at the same time for the most part. You usually have multiple bosses depending on the level of corporation that you join. And there's always that chance, although unlikely, there's always that remote chance that if you work really hard and you be the best pawn of all the pawns in your corporation, or one of the best, that you could pretty much become anyone in that corporation. Probably the best piece that you could become is the queen. Let's talk about the queen for a second before anyone else. The queen is without a doubt the most important or the most powerful piece on the board. Definitely not the most important, the most powerful. The king is the most important. The queen has the most movement. I would equate the queen to a CFO or a second in command at an organization or corporation. Obviously, the king would be the CEO. Queens work really hard for the most part, and they need that movement because they do the most work usually. Queens will be the equivalent of the CFO who's on a plane to a different part of the country today for a 2-hour meeting, and on a plane back that night to have a different meeting in a different country. Have a lot of expendable income. There's a lot of movement, a lot of power, but it's required because a lot is also required of them. So as a pawn, that is sort of your best end result. You can choose to become other things usually as a pawn. You could become a knight, a rook, a bishop. You can never become king. But I see the knight, rook, bishop as sort of department managers usually in most organizations. They usually have a very specific skill set. Can only move in certain directions, but as far as they want in those directions, for the most part. They'll have unique perks and traits, but they usually answer to someone else, and they're still bound to a great amount of rules usually. I think in life, the best way to achieve financial freedom, the best way to really be happy isn't to become a queen. It isn't even to become your own king. It is to be the strategist who controls the game. In some organizations, the king and the strategist are the same people, and many they aren't. But I think adapting that mindset and making that your goal, rather than for a lot of people, whether they're aware of it or not, even the ones who are very driven, very ambitious, very goal oriented, their ceiling is the queen. There isn't much beyond that. And it'll it'll take them getting to that point to realize that that's not what they want. I say skip the years of extreme hard work, skip the years of missing out on the things you want to do and being with the people you want to be with, and adapt the right mindset now to be the strategist, and you'll just have a better, more successful financial life. Thanks.